Hi, Hugh Taylor here, and today we're going to do the second in a series of videos of press release examples, which is proving to be very popular. So by popular demand, we're going to talk more about press release examples, and specifically today about press releases for product or business launches, which is a major category of press releases. So just quickly, the overview of today's video. Just remember, a press release can be a useful element of a product launch campaign or in a marketing campaign. So it should be viewed as a part of the mix. You know, a press release can't do everything to launch your product, but it can be a really important element in a successful product or business launch. Now, the trick is that unlike other marketing materials or processes, for a product launch, a launch press release has to sell without selling too hard, and that is tricky to do. We're going to talk about how that works. But every launch press release needs to cover the value proposition of what you're doing or your product, a definition, a simple, understandable definition of your product or business, and why it matters. Now, I'm going to go through some examples that are in a Google document that you can access in a link below in the description. So let's start with headlines. Okay, headlines of a press release, by which I mean the headline and the subhead. It's like your elevator pitch. It's one sentence to explain why the reader should care about what you're doing and why they should buy it. Keep it simple and be clear and not too salesy. Avoid hype. And so let's look at some examples now. So these are some press releases that we've done in the last year or two. So this is for a company called Neighbors Trailer, which is as we say right here in the first couple of words of the headline, a peer-to-peer marketplace for trailer rentals. So if the reader of the press release only gets it to the first, 10 words, he or she's going to have a pretty good idea what you're doing, what your company's called, and what it is. Now, the subhead is where we can add a little bit more of the value proposition, because the headline usually has to be pretty factual. It can be hard to include the definition, the name, and the value proposition all in one, 18-word, 120 characters or less kind of thing. So here we have the value proposition is an online search engine directory of trailers for rent and tools for owners. So that's kind of, adding a little more reason like why this is important. So that's one press release headline example. Another one is Worka. Worka launches a tool for one-stop recruiting and human resources management. So the verb in a launch press release is usually launch or debuts or brings out. It's we have our basic press release headline template, which is company is doing something, company announces something, person announces something. That's always the format of a headline in a press release. In this case, it's Worka, which is the name of the company, which is also the name of its technology. It's like a website. They're launching a tool. This is the what. What is it? What are they launching? It's a tool that does one-stop recruiting and human resources management. Okay, that's also the value proposition, by the way. What's the value? Why should you care about this company? Because they're offering you one-stop recruiting and human resources management. And then a little more detail here in the subhead, global HR platform enables recruitment of engineers and so forth. So that's, again, press releases are designed for partial reading. And this is a long history of this, going back to the days when newspapers were printed with lead type, and they only had enough room for enough, so they just cut off, put the rest of the lead away in the garbage, that they would cut you off if your press release is too long. So they figure if you only read the first headline and paragraph, you've got enough. You have enough to know what the press release is about. So here's another one. LOR, L-O-R, launches. Here's that format again. And what is it? A bespoke metaverse for retailers. Okay, so this is the what, right? And then this is the why that bridges the gap between Web 2 and Web 3. So now, of course, we're going to have to explain that. Not everybody knows what that means. But again, at a glance, people know what they're looking at. And then here's a little bit more of the value statement. It helps underserved voices, interoperability. This is why it matters. So those are some examples of press release headlines, why they should care and why they should buy something. So from there, we go to the lead, which is this weird spelling L-E-D-E. It's sometimes spelled L-E-A-D, like the lead, like it's leading something. If you're a real journalist, a real PR person, you call it the lead with an L-E-D-E. It's just the old-fashioned way of saying it. This is where you go. It's similar to the headline, but it's the first paragraph of your press release. And it's intended to answer the classic journalist's questions: who, what, why, when and where, what's going on, what is this news about? Okay, it's not the time to talk about, why, the industry is interested in this or whatever. It's a time to make it super clear. Again, I'm going to repeat this. If someone only has time to read the lead, which is often what happens, people are just scanning headlines and reading a few words, they should be able to take away what you're trying to do in that first paragraph. So let's take a look at some examples here. So here we have, this is the lead. Now the lead always starts with a date line. Just so you know, this is just standard press release format, in the same way that a newspaper article has a date line. It's just where is this news originating from and when is it occurring. So we have some of the same stuff here. Lore today announced the launch, of its destination for retailers large and small, offering exclusive experiences. And so here we get a little bit more into the value proposition. The virtual environment. Here's a little more description: a frictionless, sustainable partner for brands and their customers. So you're getting a slightly fuller definition of what this announcement is about. But if someone only reads this first lead paragraph, they're going to get an idea of what you're talking about and why it matters. Now going back up to the Worka press release, this is a very simple lead. It's a one-sentence lead. Again, emphasizing what it is, a global HR platform, launched a SaaS, software as a service product. This is more definition, what it is. Okay, people want to know, what are you announcing? This may seem like a simple idea, but you would be amazed at how vague or just kind of abstract certain people can be about what they're doing. You're announcing to the world what you're doing. So if you're launching, like a tire shop, you should say, I'm launching a tire shop. You shouldn't say, I have a vision of people traveling wherever they want to go in a gasoline-powered vehicle. It's all about expanding people's horizons. I mean, blah, blah, blah. That's not what the lead paragraph is about. It's really kind of a meat and potatoes thing. What are you doing specifically? Then you can add a little bit more value statement: proving successful in providing a one-stop solution for recruiting, employer of record service, and so forth, and automated global human resources management. And one of the reasons, just to get a little specific here, this company is not the only human resources software tool in the world. There are many. Okay, so they want to make some differentiation. So when they said this word automated is important, they're adding a detail like, why is this a little bit better or different than other platforms like this? Okay, so it all goes in the lead. So someone might say, automated, interesting, right? With Neighbor's Trailer, they're also offering, a clear-cut definition of what they're doing. They're launching a new software portal. That's what this is. It's not a software application. It's not a website. It's a software portal providing fully featured platform for private owners of trailers to list their trailers for rent. Okay, and then that's the what. That's kind of the just a simple what it is. And here's a little bit of value proposition. The website offers unlimited access to all the tools needed by trailer owners. Okay, then we're getting into some value statements there. They're like, why should you want to think about buying this? Okay, and I wanted to include this cute picture because this is about caring. Why should you care about it? You care about it. It's your baby, literally, right? It's like the business is like your baby. So you want people to care about it the way you do. Now we get to a part of the press release. It depends. Often I like to put it under the lead or close to the lead. Sometimes we put it lower down in the press release. It just depends. But I like to put a quote, from an executive or a business founder into the press release. And we'll show some examples. And it's an opportunity for some personal tone. You can sell a little bit. The press release style is usually kind of flat. It's like that sort of Associated Press, just the facts, ma'am, kind of style. The quote is an opportunity to be a little more personalized and put some of your personality into the press release. So here in this one, we have a quote. It's closer to the bottom. And we're saying here, the team is committed to offering you the best service possible. We've been in this industry for 40 years, and our experience will be able to take care of all your needs. This is more selling. Now, this is where you can sell in a press release. This is in the quote. In the Worka example, again, we put the quote lower down. Actually, we're going to skip that one. So here we have the quote here. Says, through the metaverse, the world has witnessed a technological revolution. Okay, so now it's a little more hype. It's a little bit of hype, a revolution, right? We're in a space where we can reimagine new realities. Okay, expansive, visionary. You can put that in the quote. It doesn't belong anywhere else in the press release. A reporter, if you put this into the body of the press release, it'll be considered too much hype, too salesy. Then we have supporting paragraphs, and this is where you kind of put a little more meat on the bone, more details, more market context, a little more why you should care. And, this is just like everything else in the press release here. So 74% of adults live in, are considering the idea of joining the metaverse. Like, you're adding more context, more detail. The company will serve as a bridge for businesses in Web 2.0, Web 3.0, and on and on. It's where you can add more detail. You can go on a little more greater length. In the Worka press release, you can talk about, in this case, what they're offering on the platform, all the engineers in the talent pool or graduates from top universities and so forth. This is where you add your supporting details. And by the way, this is kind of like the sales process if you're involved in selling. First, you have your hook. How do you get people into the conversation? You got your opener, and now you're in your description of why this matters. And in the case of the Neighbors platform, they're talking about how it's full-featured software to provide the trailer owner unlimited access to blah, blah, blah. It's saying, more detail to flesh out the selling message. And then finally, we have the call to action. Launch press release should have a call to action of some kind. In fact, every press release should have a call to action. In the case of a launch press release, there should be some kind of sign up or enroll in this program or contact us for a sales call. So here, to list your trailer for rent or to find a trailer, visit this website. Okay, that's the call to action, the CTA. With Worka, it's, to learn more about the products, please visit the website or email us. And with this one here, they're listing some events they're going to be at. If you want to be at any of these events, or visit us on Instagram, this is the call to action. And what's important to realize here is that the call to action should align with business objectives. This is where press releases come into alignment with marketing and business. There's a reason you're making the press release. The reason is you want the reader to do something. At a minimum, you want them to be aware of what you're doing, but that's a good start. But even better, you want them to engage with you. You may want to set up tracking. You can put tracking URLs. So you can say, how many people actually came from the press release. And then, we talk about this more in our free ebook, Stop Being Invisible. There's a link to get the book below. It adds a lot more sort of color and nuance to this concept. We encourage you to read it, and we are here to help you. If you need help with the launch press release or you want to see more examples, come see us at commsfactory.net. And by the way, you can set up a time to talk to me in a meeting in the link below or email me We'd love to hear from you. We want to help you be a success with your launch press releases.